A $1,000 investment is the first major step into the investing world for many people. You may be thinking, how do I invest? What are some good investments? Or is this the best use of my money? Well, today I want to share with you the best ways to invest your first $1,000. My name is Jeff Lerner, and before we get started, I'd love it if you could tap the like button below and click the red subscribe button to stay up to date on my content. So you've reached the $1,000 milestone. I know you must be serious about knowing what's best to do with it, otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? And I want to start by saying, I'm not a financial advisor, so nothing I say should be construed as individual financial advice. But I do have a strong money mindset. And once upon a time, I was completely broke, but totally determined to become wealthy. And that's exactly what I did. I first wiped away my debts, then I gained some more capital and started investing. I went from broke to paying off $500,000 in debt in 18 months to building multiple 8-figure businesses. So listen closely, follow what I say, and choose wisely. Remember, this is your money, not mine. So I just want you to be empowered and choose what's going to get you into growing your money. And let me tell you, at risk of offending anyone, it feels really good to make money. Number one step, clear away your debt first. You may not like this, but what I'm going to say is first, you have to consider your current financial situation. Do you currently have any debt that's accruing interest? Now, I know you may be excited to get going and get investing. I know you came here to grow, but listen, first you have to consider any debt by assessing the rate of interest that you're currently paying per year. Here's an example. If the rate of a credit card is higher than, say, 8% interest, then it's probably wise to first pay off that debt. That's like investing in a stock that offers 8%. So for your $1,000, that's a profit of $80, right? But if you have a credit card that's costing you 25%, well, that's $250 on that same $1,000. So you wouldn't be getting ahead by investing the money. You would actually be losing versus paying off the credit card. However, let's say you have a mortgage that's only costing you 4% and you can earn 8% in the stock market, then you would get ahead and you're better off investing the money in the stock market. So basically what I'm saying is know your numbers, know the cost of your debts. And if they're greater than what you can earn in the stock market or with some reasonable investment, you should pay off the debt first. And another tip, if you, let's say, are drowning in credit card debt, which I know a lot of people are, consider taking out a 0% balance transfer credit card so that you can reduce your interest for as much as 24 months while you work hard at paying off the principal and knocking out that debt. Debt is a soul-sucking thing, and I highly recommend that you get rid of it, get it out of your life. And you may also want to pick up a side hustle to knock off the debt sooner. And I actually created a video specifically on how to pay down debt that you may find super helpful. I will link it up for you here in this video. Just make sure you keep watching to see that video. Okay, next item, create a cash cushion. If your total money is $1,000 and you're not sure if you're going to have any more money come in, then you may not want to invest yet. You might want to create a cash cushion. Ask yourself, how much money do I need in the form of a cash cushion to last 1 day, 1 month, 1 year? What about emergency situations? Have you got enough saved up to cover living expenses plus if an emergency comes up? I recommend that everybody be able to live for 6 months with just their cash cushion. The key here is saving pays off. It is so much better not to blow money on things that you don't absolutely need until you have so much money that it doesn't change your life to do so. Look after yourself and your family first. But then once you have enough money and you feel confident that your emergency needs and your basic savings, your cash cushion are covered, then you're ready to invest. So let's get into it. A key principle here is to go boring. Invest boring. If you want to make some interest with your $1,000, but you can't afford to lose any of it, or let's say you need to have quick access to the money, then you might want to consider just a savings account, some sort of savings account that's going to pay interest. And there are tons of online high yield savings accounts that will provide you with much better interest rates than you can typically get if you just walk into your local bank. Now, these accounts are not going to earn you a ton of interest, but they're FDIC insured, so you know you have no chance of losing the money and you can withdraw it at any time without having to risk any of it or pay any penalties. The next option is to invest in stocks. And for that, I like to keep it very simple. Warren Buffett, who's maybe the greatest investor of all time, he invests only in well-established, financially stable companies. And for anybody who's a beginner, this is absolutely the best way to go. You can buy stocks from a trusted, established company, ideally one that's been around for a while, and that you would be proud to be associated with. And just, again, if you got $1,000, just choose maybe a couple stocks. Don't try to spread it across 20 companies that you're going to just get killed in fees. Choose reputable, long-standing companies and learn about them by actually reading their annual reports. These companies publish these basically a book every year that tell you everything you could possibly want to know about them. And ironically, very few people actually read them other than, sophisticated investors. But everything you want to know about a company, you can typically find out by reading their annual report. So that's a great way to get started as a beginner and start to get confidence to understand how the stock market works. Now, a lot of people don't like to put their eggs in, so few baskets, so to speak, as individual stocks, and they might prefer to invest in an index fund or an exchange-traded fund, what's known as an ETF. These are pools of different stocks for people that aren't, interested in or willing to, again, put all their money into just a few individual stocks. So this is different from the previous tip, and you should consider which one, suits you the best. A good option is the Vanguard 500. It's been around for a long time, has 500 different stocks in it, and that way you don't have to do your own research on which stock to buy. You're basically betting on the market as a whole going up. You can also buy an exchange-traded fund to trade the S&P 500, which are the top 500 largest companies in the United States. The idea here is instead of having to pick winners, you're basically betting on the entire race. Now, ETFs have made it so much easier to diversify your stock investments, and an ETF, or an exchange-traded fund, works very similar to a mutual fund, where you basically make a small purchase of a whole bunch of different stocks that are blended together in the ETF. But what's different from ETFs is that they trade in shares just like an individual stock would be. So you can buy much smaller pieces of the fund and still get great diversification. A lot of times, with only $1,000, it's going to be hard to get a lot of diversification. Exchange-traded funds allow you to do that. And the next option, which is one that I have always tended to do and have a pretty good track record with, so I kind of like this option, is to invest in yourself. And maybe you weren't expecting this, but I believe that you are your most valuable asset. Maybe it's hiring a coach, maybe it's investing in your own business, getting some training on skills that you can help you generate income. That is a long-term capital gain in the sense that increasing your own value will pay you dividends for life. One example even could be starting a YouTube channel. And obviously you're on YouTube here, and a lot of people here are interested in what goes on with creating a channel like this. Well, maybe you spend your $1,000 to get a camera, get a whiteboard, get some editing tools, maybe buy a course on presenting. A lot of YouTubers make an actual six-figure income if you know the best way to go about setting it up initially. And the key is being consistent. So maybe investing some initial dollars in that will pay itself back hundreds of times over. And the next idea is to invest in REITs, R-E-I-T-S. Have you ever thought about investing in real estate? Well, typically when you think about real estate investing, you probably think of buying a house and renting it out, maybe buying a commercial building and renting it out as office space. And that is the most common type of real estate investing, but not everyone wants to have the day-to-day duties of being a landlord or having to manage the space, and maybe not everyone can get a loan. Certainly if you only have $1,000, it might be hard to actually acquire a physical property. So if this is you, then you should consider potentially putting your $1,000 into a REIT. REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. And REITs are basically securities, a lot like stocks, and they trade on the stock exchange just like a stock. And they're basically trusts which own multiple real estate properties, and they allow investors to put their money into a single real estate investment where you own these little fractional shares diversified across multiple real estate properties. And there are dozens of ways you can get started in REITs. There's hundreds of them, but the easiest that I found is through a website called Fundrise, where with just $500, you can actually make an initial investment into owning real estate. You can use their starter portfolio, which will actually put your money into several different REITs, and instantly you're not only diversified across multiple properties in a REIT, you're diversified across multiple REITs that own multiple properties. And the fees are minimal with Fundrise. In fact, the average investor with Fundrise only pays about 0.40% in fees every year. Now, a lot of money management firms will charge 1%, 2%, sometimes more of assets under management. So paying only 0.4% is very, very minimal cost compared to other options. The next option is peer-to-peer lending, or sometimes you see it written as like P2P lending. Peer-to-peer lending is basically crowdfunding for loans. So each person who contributes to the loan gets paid back their prorated percentage of the loan with interest. So basically, you get to participate in a loan relationship just like a bank, only you're alongside a bunch of other people who collectively earn the interest. So it's like banking for, people who aren't as big as the bank. It's pretty great. Banking's a great business. And there are really easy to use services like Lending Club, for example, that have allowed peer-to-peer lending to become a major player in the personal loans marketplace. And the ability to diversify into so many loans, because you're not the only one making the loan, and on the flip side, the borrower isn't getting all their money from you, so you can actually put a little bit of money into a lot of different loans. And that makes Lending Club a very appealing place to invest your money, because again, you get to diversify. And the next option is to, and this one's kind of crazy, let robots handle your investments. We live in the era of robots, and the investing world is no different. So-called robo-advisors actually, in an automated way, take some of the best investing strategies in the world, and they use artificial intelligence to implement them on your behalf. So what this means for you is you get many of the benefits of having an actual financial planner, only at a much lower cost, or even sometimes no cost at all. So if you're looking for a way to set up your investments and completely forget about them while benefiting from having an actively managed account, then a robo-advisor might be a great way to go. The next option is to start a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a special type of retirement account where you pay taxes on money going into the account, but then all future withdrawals are tax-free. And having tax-free money during retirement is a huge benefit to your long-term retirement strategy. And there are a bunch of different brokerages that are great places to open a Roth IRA. So in summary, pay off your debts, then you're ready to start growing your capital, whether it's in the stock market, a real estate investment trust, index funds, exchange-traded funds, peer-to-peer lending, so many great options out there. No matter which option you choose to invest your $1,000, the most important thing is that you are choosing to invest your money. Most people don't. Most people are, frankly, a little too scared to do that. And the fact that you made it this far shows me you're serious about making a good investment, and you're actually willing to do some research so you make the best possible decision. And I applaud you for that. Now, if you like this video, please don't forget to, again, subscribe to my channel. This channel is about showing you how to have an awesome life. And whether that's making money online, investing, saving, personal development, learning to sell, learning to market, online business, entrepreneurship, so many different ways to do it, but ultimately it's the same goal, to have an awesome life. Thanks for your support. I'll see you soon.